Exploding Ants by Joanne Settel, Ph.D. Amazing facts about how animals adapt. Genre: expository texts explain what certain things are and how they came to be or behave. As you read, notice how the text's organizational pattern helps explain insect behavior. Question of the week: how do animals adapt to survive? Why animals do gross things. Animals often do things that seem gross to us. They eat foods that people would find nauseating. They make their homes in disgusting places and feed on mucus and blood. They swell or blow up their body parts. But while these behaviors are nasty to us, they are critical to life on Earth. They make it possible for many kinds of living things to find food, shelter, and safety. Different species make use of every possible space and gobble down every nutritious crumb of food in the natural world. If every species of animal ate the same kind of food or lived in the same place, there simply wouldn't be enough to go around. It would become impossible for all of the species to survive. So instead, animals specialize. One predator eats flesh while another feeds on blood. As a result, when it comes to eating, nothing is wasted. Almost every part of every living animal, from skin to dung to mucus, can provide food for some other species. All of these things contain good nutrients. An animal that has the right digestive organs and chemicals can easily break them down. Similarly, when it comes to finding shelter, animals make use of any hole or space or building material that they can find. For example, the smelly, slimy holes and organs inside the body of a bigger animal can often provide a warm, protective home for small animals like insects. Finally, animals often put their body parts to good use. Animals don't have bags to carry things around, tools to open things, knives to cut things, or weapons to defend themselves. Instead, they use their own bodies in ways that seem gross to us. By stretching, swelling, and bursting open, they can trick predators, store food, swallow big gulps, and defend their nests. Swelling, expanding, and exploding bodies. Living honey jars. The swollen sacs of nectar that hang from the roof of a honey ant nest are actually alive. They're the fat bodies of ants that have turned themselves into living honey jars. The honey jars are worker ants that store food and are known as repletes. Repletes spend their lives hanging upside down from the roof of their nest waiting to feed or be fed. Their bodies provide sterile, airtight food containers. It is when the colony has lots of extra food that the repletes get fed. Each replete receives regurgitated or spit up food from hundreds of ordinary worker ants. The food consists of a golden liquid filled with a predigested mix of termite parts and plant nectar. As they take in more and more food, the repletes swell. Soon their rear ends or abdomens are as large as small grapes. The swollen ants then climb to the roof of the nest and continue to eat. They remain on the roof for months, hanging by their claws, barely able to move. If for some reason a replete falls down, other workers must help drag its large balloon-like body back up to the ceiling. When food supplies outside the nest run low, the repletes become the feeders. Hungry nestmates now gather round for food. They touch the repletes' antennae with their own. The repletes then regurgitate big drops of golden honey. The extra food provided by the repletes is important to the colony's survival. Honey ants live in large colonies in dry desert regions of North America, Africa, and Australia, where food is often scarce. Storing food in their living honey jars enables the colony to make it through the hottest, driest desert seasons. The sweet honey of the honey ant repletes is not only food for other ants but also for some people. The Aborigines in Australia consider the swollen honey ants to be sweet treats and pop them into their mouths like candy. Exploding ants. Soldier ants of the species Camponotus saundersi are designed to explode. These ants make themselves burst to defend their colony from other invading insects. When ants explode, they spray out a sticky chemical that kills or glues their opponents in place. Camponotus ants manufacture their deadly chemicals inside their own bodies. The chemicals are stored in two big sacs called mandibular glands. These glands take up most of the ant's body opening, just under the mandibles or jaws. When an intruder approaches, the Camponotus ant will release small amounts of its special chemical to warn away the invader. If the intruder actually attacks, however, the Camponotus ant takes the next step. It violently contracts or tightens its muscles, bursting open and spewing out its deadly chemicals. Camponotus ants aren't the only insect with this unusual behavior. It turns out that soldiers of the termite species Globigermes sulphureus are also exploders, bursting open when threatened and spraying a sticky yellow liquid all over their opponents. Getting it down. A ball of bones. Every evening before it goes off to hunt, an owl spits up a few balls of fur and bones. The balls, or pellets, are what's left of the owl's last meal. An owl preys on small animals, such as mice, moles, shrews, birds, and insects. When the feathered predator captures its prey, it doesn't take the time to kill its victim and then pick out the fleshy, nutritious parts. It simply swallows the animal whole. Then the owl digests all the soft stuff, the muscles and organs. The rest, the fur, feathers, teeth, and bones, are wastes. The owl gets rid of these by regurgitating a pellet. Owls normally spit up 2 pellets a day. Over time, the pellets pile up and form large heaps under the owl's roosting or resting site. By examining these pellets, scientists can learn all about an owl's diet. A pellet of a barn owl, for example, usually contains entire skeletons of 2 or 3 mammals, lots of fur, and insect parts. That means that a barn owl gulps down around 6 small mammals a day. 6 small mammals at 2 to 6 ounces each seems like a lot of meat for a bird that weighs less than 1 pound. The 12-ounce owl, however, doesn't get fat on this feast. Most of its food is just the fur and bones that get chucked up as round pellets. Big, big gulps. Gulping down a whole pig or chicken may sound like an impossible task for a snake, but it's no big deal for a 20-foot python. In fact, many snakes often swallow food much bigger than their own heads. Even very small snakes may feast on mice, rats, birds, frogs, and whole eggs. The snake's ability to swallow big prey results from the special design of its jaw. The bones of its mouth are loosely joined to its skull. A stretchy strip of tissue called a ligament holds together the 2 halves of the lower jaw. When the snake swallows its dinner, its mouth can stretch wide open. The lower jaw bones spread apart and each bone moves separately to pull the prey into the mouth. Snakes generally try to gulp down their food head first. This causes the prey's legs to fold back as the snake swallows. In addition, the snake's sharp teeth are curved backward, preventing the squirming prey from wiggling back out. As the snake works its food down its throat, it pushes its windpipe out of its mouth. This means that it doesn't have to stop breathing as it swallows. Because snakes eat such big meals, they don't need to eat every day. Most snakes only have to grab a meal once a week, and some only eat once every month. Large pythons hold the record, however. After feasting on a pig or chicken, these huge snakes can go for more than a year without any other food.